Even with everything going on with Biden, I am still hopeful. I think that even if Trump wins, I think it'll be very bad for a while. But I think that the younger generation coming up is very progressive. I think that the internet has really spurred on a wave of progressive young people, the likes of which the world has never seen. I think that it's going to end up bringing people together in a way that we've never seen before. And I think that the future of humanity, assuming we can survive climate change, is bright. And we should keep our heads up and try to, just against all odds, keep trudging forward. So as many of you know, I went to Yonkers, New York for Progressive Victory to campaign for Jamal Bowman. Now, while we were in Yonkers, we did a couple of recording events. I got booted off of one of the panels, unfortunately. But I got booted off because I was part of this activity that we did. Do all progressives think the same? Spectrum. Now, if you don't know what Spectrum is, it's basically it's a Jubilee game. So basically, you just have like a bunch of lines, and they'll explain it in the video too. But I'll just give you a brief summary. There are a bunch of lines, and then depending on how much you agree or disagree with the statement, you would go to a certain line. We were told we have to agree or disagree with each statement that was read. So, without further ado, here it is. Hopefully, I don't look like an idiot. Let's get started.
We're forced to drink out of paper straws while Taylor Swift is taking a private jet to get a cheeseburger or something.
Complete unambiguous win to the far right.
Anybody want to disagree with me? Fight.
Welcome to Progressive Victory's Spectrum, where we'll finally find out, do all progressives think the same? I will be reading a series of controversial statements designed to divide the left.
This, for those who don't know, this is James from Chill Goblin. And he was a great announcer.
Left and cause it to eat itself. And the contestants here will move to the left if they agree.
That's Matt Bender.
To the right if they disagree. Are we ready to play? Yeah.
Oh, it was very fun.
All right, let's do it. Number 1, police are working class.
Yeah, we split apart pretty good on this.
I mean, this is a technicality thing. This is an asterisk thing, right? Obviously, police work for their paychecks, and that is definitionally working class. It's more a matter of, to an extent,
Agreed.
I think that what class you're in is kind of defined by your interests. You look the world around, police are almost always on the other side of any working class movement because they have a different set of class interests. They're kind of a subcategory, really. So they work for...
Spoiler alert, there are very few things we actually, oh, she looks like she's about to kill him. There are very few things we actually disagreed on. Is Zan here? No, Xander Hall's not in here if you're asking. Vosh is here. Let's see, there's Vosh, Chill Goblin. We're in Hell didn't make it to the segment. Dreg did, J-R-E-G. I can't remember her name, and I feel really bad about it in the back. There's another girl that I can't remember her name. And then Matt Bender's here. And I think that's it.
For the paycheck.
Sure. Oh, and Nominal Naomi is there.
Sure, but historically, they tend to be motivated by a very different set of interests than, the union workers that...
Ariana is a fan of the deranged tanky. Listen, I don't do guilt by association. Ariana was cool while I was there. It's fine.
They're sent to harass. So, not always the case, just it's a pattern.
Yeah, I think it's possible to be working class and also perpetuate these oppressive systems. Like, that's one of the ways that the capitalist class keeps itself going is by using workers to perpetuate their systems of power, their systems of control. And police are like the prime example of that. So, yeah, I think you can be both.
So I do agree with some of your sentiments. The reason why I land on disagree is because, for example, I'm from the Bay Area, and the Bay Area cops on overtime make hundreds and thousands of dollars. Like, I'm talking $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 just on working.
By the way, I didn't know that going into this. I thought cops made like at most like $100,000. I didn't know there were like actual like high six-figure cops. That's insane.
Overtime. And for me, it's like, yeah, working class does include clocking into your job, doing a trade specialty, but at the same time, if you're getting paid $600,000, $700,000, in my opinion, you...
Oh, by the way, left is disagree, right is agree from over top. But if you're looking at it from the top, it's left is disagree, right is agree.
Still land on,
so I was on the agree
a much
side.
Higher class of income as opposed to someone who's working in a grocery store, for example. So that's why I kind of disagree, because although I do agree to some extent that their jobs are working class, their income, especially in very metropolitan areas, when you include overtime, is much higher than the average working class person.
Number 2.
Oh man, they completely left out my statements. That's fine.
Competition breeds innovation.
Basically, I just said the same thing that everybody else did. I just said that, like, they're class traders, basically is what I said. Like managers. Vosh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to start. Like, I think that it's precisely the problem that anti-competition is what breeds a lack of innovation. Like when we see these monopolies, these oligopolies that completely control markets, there's no desire to
I said
innovate.
disagree.
And I mean, we can even think about this question on kind of like the abstract. Like when something gets competitive, like there's a lot more people that are trying to like play around with it, try new things. I mean, you can think about like competitive games as an example. Like
so personally, I think it depends on how you're approaching the question. I think that competition can breed innovation, but when you're speaking strictly from a monetary competition, I think that instead it breeds copycats.
People are going to try a lot of new strategies in those. Like competition itself is not the problem. What's the real problem going on is that there's anti-competition. There's no kind of like support mechanisms for people that are living under these kind of monopolies and oligopolies.
When you're talking about like fiscal competition, just in terms of money, really competition breeds copycats. You see that all the time in all kinds of markets, like the drug market. You got all these copycat drugs for no reason. You have like 50 different brands of Oreos that all taste exactly the same. And I just think that that's not innovation, that's copycat. And so that's kind of how I view it. Now, if you're talking about competition in terms of who can make the best Oreo, who can make the best game, I guess I can see it that way. But I just think in general, like when we say competition breeds innovation, we're talking more about the financial element of it, at least when we usually talk about it.
I mean, I think there's a reason why antitrust laws are good and monopolies
I thought that
bad.
was pretty good.
It clearly helps companies and individuals create things that otherwise might not have been possible.
I'm glad that I still look swole, because I tell you that like my workout game has not been on point lately. So I'm glad that it still comes across.
When the situation is quote unquote copycats, that's how you get like affordable generic drugs though. Companies are able to innovate price-wise by being able to create a drug that had been come up by someone else and create a cheaper version that more people could access. I mean, that's innovation, if you ask me, because they're creating a cheaper product. And I don't know if any of you are pro wrestling fans, but everybody knows the wrestling industry has not been the same since the WWE purchased their competition, WCW and ECW, in the early 2000s. That should tell you all you need to know.
I think most of the disagreement during this segment was like how we read the question. You know what I mean? Like how we each interpreted it. Because for the most part, I think we all agreed on mostly everything. There's probably like a couple of things we disagreed on, but not really. You know what I mean?
Like, I like competition. I think competition is good. I just don't think that the profit motive is always the best way of working out how that should, you know, how those chips should fall. Sometimes you get a better product that's not as like economically viable. Sometimes you have a product that could be better if it had like peripheral support, you know, like electric vehicle chargers, for example, is something that's incited a lot of hot debate for fans of that sort of thing, where you have like proprietary technology that kind of locks out a portion of the market, and that is
Vosh is very well spoken in this environment,
in that it's good for the finances, but it doesn't allow for like innovation on a technological level. You know, we owe a lot to, I guess, humans' desire to one up one another, and I think that desire existed prior to the kind of like formalized market systems that we enjoy today. You know, like people have always been trying to do that. You know, Grug was carving better rocks long before we had paper currency. So it's just the incentive structure underneath it and how we best channel it. I agree we probably don't need like 50 kinds of similar Oreos. Like maybe the effort put into producing those could go towards like building a hospital somewhere. I don't know, somehow reallocating that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, with antitrust laws being like one staple of that, I guess it's just kind of building a framework where competition can thrive in a way that doesn't waste our time, ideally.
Number 3, I am hopeful.
I just want to say real quick, I'm not sure if I'm going to watch all of this because I really don't have a whole lot to add. Like, I'm already watching it. No, I mean, I was already there, like, talking about it, you know, all my thoughts. So, like, I don't know. We'll see how we're doing, like, maybe 12 minutes in. I might just defer you guys to the original video if you want to see the rest of it. I think that would be a good idea because this is on Progressive Victory's channel, PV Spotlight, and I think it'd be a good idea to ship you guys over there. So if you want to see the rest of it, we'll watch like half of this, and then if you want to see the rest, you'll have to go over there and see it.
For America's future.
All right, so the question.
Number 3, I am hopeful for America's future.
Yeah,
Still
I'm
true.
hopeful for America's future. It's good to be hopeful, right? I also think that Democrats have moved more progressive than they ever.
Even with everything going on with Biden, I am still hopeful. I think that even if Trump wins, you know, I think it'll be very bad for a while. But I think that the younger generation coming up is very progressive. I think that the internet has really spurred on a wave of progressive young people, the likes of which the world has never seen. I think that it's going to end up bringing people together in a way that we've never seen before. And I think that the future of humanity, assuming we can survive climate change, is bright. And we should keep our heads up and try to, you know, just against all odds, keep trudging forward.
Ever have, and I think that Republicans are going to lose for the foreseeable future. And the reason I'm not more over there is because there's a chance I'm wrong.
Yeah, I try to maintain as much hope as possible. You know, it can be hard to be hopeful sometimes, and you don't always expect the best outcomes. But I think just you know, hoping for them, and to whatever extent you're religious, I guess, praying for it. You know, it's important, and I think that a lot of the younger generation is growing up to be a lot more progressive.
See, like I just said this.
Especially with the rise of internet culture, with all of its downfalls, I think that it's really brought people together. And yeah, like I said, I just try to keep my hopes as high as possible.
Yeah, don't want to hedge my bets too much because things have gone wrong before, but I think that in like a broad material sense, there are strong undercurrents to the way society is changing that are nearly irreversible and generally positive. Mostly with the young folks and the increasing visibility of the gay, queer people or whatever. It's just hard to hate people when you know them. You know, it's why, for all of its faults, like major American cities are basically global hubs of progressivism. You know, they're incredibly diverse. They have access to a wide range of cultural influences.
You're welcome, Libby.
You get to meet all sorts of people.
Yeah, I've been very doomer lately. Like I've been feeling internally doomer about the election. But it's true, you know, like everything that I just said is true, even beyond the election. Like we're moving in a good direction worldwide, I think.
In New York right now, I mean, I grew up in LA. There are some crazy experiences that you can
I mean,
have
look at
there
where
that would
we've
have
come
been
from.
literally
you know?
impossible anywhere in the
There
world.
will always be stumbling
50,
blocks.
60 years ago, maybe. And, you know, I think that like there are very few political happenstance, even stuff like climate change or like a massive political shift that can undo all
Is
the
that my
good
tit?
that adjacency is.
Dog, you put my tit in the shot? Look at this. Unbelievable. They got my titty right there, dude. That's crazy. How dare you? How dare you, Progressive Victory? Disgusting freaks.
Like a massive political shift that can undo all the good that adjacency has done. You know, it's not always going to be straight up. I think it's a bumpy road, but you know, I don't really see how anything could undo
Calm
that
down.
progress.
So although
I got the spray
agree
bottle.
that the sentiment of the people is changing and the younger generation is becoming more and more progressive by the day, I think politically we still have a lot of issues. A lot of our politicians are, quite frankly, bought out. Like we're literally here because one of our favorite politicians is getting bought out by a lobbying group that has the interest of a foreign country. So
I think she meant one of our least favorite.
I think we still have long ways to go to actually,
unless she was being sarcastic,
policy that is going to bring about real change. But I do think socially we are moving towards a path of progression, if that makes sense, which is why I'm on the disagree line. I think that socially we're moving towards the right direction. When it comes to politicians and actually being able to elect people who are for our best interests, I think we have long ways to go.
Number 4. It is good
last
that
one.
America is the lone global superpower right now.
Last one, and then you guys can go watch the rest on their channel. After stream.
I'm over here because I remember World War I and World War II, and Europe sucks, and I'm glad that they're not like in charge of the world anymore. So that's good. But you know, I think that the best part of American history was whenever the USSR challenged the US in a lot of different ways. We went to the moon back then, and then the USSR fell apart, and now we don't want to do anything. So I don't think it's great that we're the only thing, but like, you know, it's better back than the World War I days.
I want to bounce off that and just say that I think militarily, multipolarity is actually quite ruinous. I mean, basically every conflict over the past century has derived in some form from like two powers duking it out by proxy. Like, depending on how far back you stretch the definition of the word proxy, this is like the Middle East with Iran, right?
Did I miss something? What do you mean? She was talking, I mean, I wasn't completely on board with what she was saying, but I don't know. I don't have a lot to say here.
Vietnam, Korea, with us and China and the Soviet Union, like constantly, this is how it goes down. I think economically, multipolarity is amazing. Like, the more economic investment you have between two cultures, societies, countries, empires, the less likely they are to invade. The fact that we are so...
See, this guy has a sociology degree. I just have a stupid nursing license.
Economically intertwined with China, for example, probably the reason why Taiwan hasn't gotten invaded yet, or why we haven't, you know, been more openly aggressive. We're just too interconnected. So more of that, you know, I want every part of the world to have such deep ties to each other that it would be ruinous for them to ever, you know, get
useless nursing license.
A lot of what Russia's doing right now is a product of the fact that their economy, right? They're like a natural gas and oil heavy export like economy. It's resistant to that like interdependence. So yeah, I don't know. Trade.
Gotcha, Plague Mercury.
Okay, I think America's fucking the world up royally. I think when we look at, especially historically, like different continents like South America, Asia, the Middle East right now in particular, we are very selfish. We're basically the police. We bully anyone that doesn't listen to us. We sanction them. We kill them. We murder them. And no, I don't think us being a global superpower is responsible for the greater good of Earth in general. I mean, we're looking at what's happening in Palestine and Gaza right now. Like,
you guys want to know something really funny? In the middle of filming this, we took a break, and I went to the bathroom. I came back out of the bathroom. And I thought we were still on break, so I went and sat down and started crocheting my Snorlax, because that's what I was working on way back yonder. And I was just like sitting in like a big room crocheting. And then I forget what his name is. One of the guys that was in charge of wrangling us comes in. He's like, Alec, come on. Come on. I'm like, oh shit. And I like throw all my crocheting stuff to the side. I'm like, I didn't realize it. Like, I knew so I knew that we were in a hurry. But I didn't realize that we weren't still on break. And so I was just like, oh, they'll come find me, I guess. Like, I thought that I saw some other people, but no, they had to come. So I don't know. It was just embarrassing. Anyway.
Like, what I would never in good faith be able to say that
sitting there doing my little crafts
global superpower,
while they're trying to hurry the
we are responsible with our power alone, not just domestically, but globally. And domestically, I mean, we are sending billions of dollars to these countries. What are we doing for our own people? Our own veterans are in the street dying. So am I going to sit here and say we're really good at being the global superpower? Absolutely not. No, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, Ariana covered it. I mean, you know, the U.S. has...
I don't know if we're going to get any more of me.
Has bullied its way to getting what it wants. Practically, you know, any country that has something that it wants. You know, I'm not saying that the U.S. should fall, but it would be better.
Is that me again?
What Vosh said.
They really like standing behind me and filming.
More interconnectivity between all these countries to the point where they all viewed each other as, you know, equal partners in their relationships.
Yeah, I mean, I'm agreeing with what everybody over here is saying. I think that the one thing for me why I'm on kind of like the slight angle is that I think that the whole world situation could be a lot worse if there were other countries in power, particularly like, you know, these kind of like war-hungry dictatorships. Like, I mean, we've seen what Russia's been doing to Ukraine. It'd be a lot scarier if they had the power to invade a lot of other countries.
Number 5.
Okay, we're gonna stop there. Yeah, that's close enough to halfway. We'll stop there. All right, that was pretty good. So you got to see a little bit of your boy Alec Gunter over there with Vosh and Dreg and all them and Matt Binder. Give my opinions, you know, what have you. And if you want to see the rest of it, you can go over to PV Spotlight, the YouTube channel, and view the rest of it on your own time. I'm sure they could use the subscribers. I'm sure they could use the views. So yeah, get on over there, watch the rest, look at your boy Alec Gunter, and that's about it. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. If you enjoy my content, you enjoy what I do, I really appreciate any financial help that I can get. Go to youtube.com/AlecGunterTTV/join. You got some awesome benefits, such as seeing early videos, awesome emotes that you can use in the comments of YouTube videos, and a sweet badge next to your name. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'd really appreciate if you join. It is cheaper than the cost of a blowjob from your mom. So with all that being said, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.